December 23rd, 2009, I was diagnosed with a syndrome called Mal de Debarquement Syndrome. In a nutshell, this means sickness of land, so it's a constant feeling like I've just come off a boat, so I'm always rocking side to side. In June of 2009, one day I started to feel very dizzy and nauseous, and that continued for a long time. It got to the point where for 2 weeks I was stuck sitting on the couch. I couldn't eat or drink anything, and couldn't really get up. Mom and Dad spent many hours beside me, praying with me, rubbing my back, and taking me from doctor to doctor, or sometimes even to the hospital. Months of this constant battle went on. Medications didn't work, and my doctor was out of options. I finally got to see a specialist on December the 23rd. Mom and Dad took me that day. We arrived at Toronto General, and I was so excited because that was the day that I would get to find out what was wrong and all of this would be over. But that wasn't the case at all. After about 4 or 5 hours of tests, none of which were fun ones, we all crowded into a small room and were given a pamphlet on Mal de Debarquement Syndrome. That was all they could do. I was told this was something that could last me 2 days or 20 years. I could take medications, however, we had already tried all of them and none of them worked. It was a very quiet car ride home that afternoon. All I remember was sitting in the back seat trying to hide my tears. I called Dean to tell him what the doctors had said, and all I wanted to do was scream. Why me? Why did God give me this? Why at 19 years old was my life put on hold? I was done at that point. There was no fight left in me. I couldn't do anything the average 19-year-old could do. I couldn't go to the movies. I couldn't go out dancing, and most of the time needed Mom to help me wash the shampoo out of my hair. I couldn't go to malls. That's bad for a girl. And eating didn't really exist. I lost about 35 pounds in a total of 5 months. But the absolute worst was that I couldn't sleep. I would literally have to walk around my room for a good 2 to 3 hours before being able to sit in bed and hopefully soon fall asleep. I was exhausted, frustrated, angry, and I didn't want to have to deal with it anymore. I remember countless times praying and even saying to Mom that I just wanted to be in heaven where I wouldn't be sick anymore. 2 months later, my life changed even more. I got engaged to Dean at only 19 years old. I remember that night going to bed thinking, why did I say yes? Why was I about to bring Dean into this for life when he didn't deserve any of it? I now know one of the reasons why God gave me Dean, to help me get through all of this. The battle continued, and I became more down and more angry, not only with myself, but those around me, and especially with God. My relationship with God had become a very angry one. The only time I spent with Him was when I would yell at Him and ask, why me? It wasn't until about 1.5 years into having MDDS that my relationship was renewed and restored, and I started to feel better. One night I was looking out my bedroom window at home. The snow was falling and the stars were shining, and the song Indescribable by Chris Tomlin kept coming into my head. I found myself standing there praying and crying. My prayer was this: God, if you are not going to take this away from me, then please let me feel you comfort me. I always had comfort and support and love from family and friends, more than you'll ever imagine. However, throughout all of this, I never felt comfort from God. It was at that very moment, for the very first time in my life, I truly felt God's arms wrap around me. I ran to my bed, opened my Bible, and the first thing I opened it to was Isaiah 41:10. For do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. It was at that moment my life changed. Am I sick? Yes. Am I going to get better? Maybe one day. For now, this is who I am and what I'm going through. God didn't make me sick. However, He is there to guide me through it all. He has given me a family that aren't just family anymore. They're now my angels. He has taught me how to live and enjoy life to its fullest, even on my very worst days. This past year, I've gone on an airplane, I've watched a movie in a movie theater, I can sometimes sleep lying down, and I can eat absolutely anything. But most of all, I can be Brittany again. From 2.5 years ago to today, I've made a vast improvement. I've gone from being stuck on a couch to getting up and taking life day by day. I've learned that if I'm having a bad day, it's okay to say so and ask for help. I may not be able to do everything a 21-year-old can, but that's okay. In a way, God has blessed me with Mal de Debarquement Syndrome. I now have a story to tell. Maybe there are some of you here today who feel like you have had enough, or like life is just too overwhelming. But if there's one thing I can leave you with, it's hope. I never thought I would be able to tell people how I truly felt 2 years ago, because it was all thoughts of anger, hurt, and trouble. Now it's okay to share this because those thoughts are gone, and I feel that God can use me telling my story to help others. God has given me hope like I have never had before. Do I sometimes feel frustrated and wonder why? Yes, but that's only because I'm human. When I do feel that way, though, I know it's going to be okay. I have a husband, family, and friends who support me like no other. But most of all, I have a Father who watches over me and is with me any time of day, no matter how I feel. Thank you.